Great. So we're going to continue now with the second talk, which is called Backpropagations, How to Burn Money with AI-Generated Music. Did you say earn money? No. So what is on the agenda today? Yeah, the first question is, why did I do this? Yeah, and there is no obvious reason. So then we're going to speak about the result. So what is the Backpropagation Boys? Then a little bit about theory. So how can you use AI to generate music? Then the painful workflow. And then we will have a look in the wallet. Yeah, so what's in the wallet and why it's a success story anyway. So first of all, I need to disclose that I'm completely unmusical. Yeah, I cannot even play the flute. I cannot read music. I have no idea about music. So in 2024, Udo and Suno got my attention because this was AI generated or AI music generation. So I said, cool, yeah. So now even the dumbest guy like me can generate music and do something with it. So it didn't take much to convince me to try it out, and I tried Udo first. And actually, the first album that I made was Carnage Compiler. Yeah. So this was my first try. I just wanted to see if it is actually possible to make music that sounds like real music. So the band was raised Carnage Compiler, album Vino of 8, yeah? And all the tracks on this albums are about AI taking over the world and destroying the humanity. So the good things here is that this was the first time that I actually used some music generation. I heard some AI-generated music that sounded okay. Yeah, not really good. So you could still identify this is not real music, but still it was okay to listen to. Yeah, and this is the good thing. The bad thing is only a few people like me like death metal. Okay. So the next thing is that there are already many excellent bands. So it doesn't make sense to create like death metal, a hardcore deathcore metal, because there are so many bands that I want to listen to. I wouldn't even have time to listen to my own. So I developed a master plan and thought, okay, then maybe let's do some random pop music, yeah, and make some money with it. So I developed a master plan, yeah, prompting some music, float Spotify with AI hits, and become shamelessly rich. I'm still here, so it didn't work. Why didn't it work? The problem is, yeah, a few people had this idea. And actually, there is a study from The Guardian, or a report from The Guardian, that at Deezer, so Deezer is a music provider like Spotify, a streaming service. This year's April, 18% of uploaded music was AI generated. So this means every day, 20,000 songs are uploaded to the streaming platforms that are AI generated. Yeah, today it's maybe even more because this was in April. So I realized, okay, there is no chance. Yeah, to make music with AI by uploading it to some streaming platforms, there is no chance to get attention or get it famous, yeah, and make money with it. So then I was thinking maybe I can make, if I can't make money with it, maybe there is some other use cases. Because at this point I realized actually it doesn't make sense at all. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to generate music with AI because there are a lot of big companies, services, they produce high-level music. They have all the marketing to spread it in the world, to get into the charts and stuff. And there are a lot of bands that can do great music. So there is no need to just generate some arbitrary music. And I was thinking of what can I do with it? Maybe there is a good idea to use it in a sensible way. And then actually my colleague, Michael, who is sitting there, yeah, he came up with the idea and said, yeah, Torsten, our students sometimes have problems to remember some algorithms. Why not putting these algorithms into the lyrics so that they can remember the important things? Yeah, if they don't pay attention in our lectures, maybe they listen to music. And then I came up with the Backpropagation Boys. So the first albums have been dropped in early this year, and they are called Computer Vision. Why? Because I was holding a computer vision lecture in the summer semester. So on these albums, actually every song is explaining one concept in computer vision. So every lecture I turned into one song, developed some lyrics from it, generated the music, and then I was thinking, cool, now I get all my students to listen to hardcore death metal. Yeah, and then I was thinking twice and saying, well, maybe not. Yeah, I don't know what music taste they have, so I decided to generate 3 versions of it. So I have the rock version, the pop version, and the hip hop version. But I have no idea what hip hop is, so this can be anything. Yeah, it just has some beat. You tell me. And the lyrics of all the songs are exactly the same. So it doesn't matter for the students to listen to the pop or to the rock version of the CNN song, yeah, because the lyrics are always the same. And just a few weeks ago, for the winter semester, I also published the Neural Networks album, yeah, also again in the rock, in the pop, and in the hip hop version. Good, so we will listen to some of the songs later on. Let's first talk a bit about how does music generation actually work. So basically, we use the same principles then with text generation. Yeah, but music is a different representation. In text, we have tokens. So we have some words, they get tokenized, and then we have the tokens, and we use some encoder to put these tokens into some embeddings. So this representation is different from music. And there are actually different ways to do it. So there is a symbolic way, which means we translate the song, the lyrics, the music into symbolic tokens. Yeah, so describing vocal, guitar, and so on. So this is getting a huge list of actually tokens describing the single individual parts of the music. And then we can do it in the same autoregressive way with a transformer as we do it with text. Second approach is we use a spectrogram based. So spectrogram means we transform the audio sequence into something which is called a null spectrogram. So this null spectrogram could look like this. So this is not for a song, this is just for a little audio sequence. And you can think of this spectrogram, it's basically a fast Fourier transformation of the song, but in the fast Fourier or in the Fourier transformation, we assume that the signal is periodic. So this is not true for music. Music is different at each step. So you have a window running over the sequence, and then in every window we do a Fourier transformation, and we have the frequencies here on the Y scale, and we have this time window on the X scale. Okay, and then you get something that looks like an image, and then we can feed this into a representation like an image encoder, and then get some features from that. Good. Or it's also possible to use the raw audio data, yeah, because audio is a sequence, but it's very high dimensional. Yeah, it's much more complicated because in text you have the single words. In a music signal, you would need to have, if you have 60 hertz, you have so you have 60 portions per second that you need to feed into this, and this is a very high dimensional signal. So there's a model called Jukebox, which is using that, but it's very hard to scale this approach. So most of the open source approaches use the spectrogram-based or the symbolic-based. So having this representation, we can either use autoregressive transformers, yeah, like GPT models, where you feed in some prompt and then you get some output token and you feed this into the input and get predicted the next output token and so on. Or we can use also some latent diffusion, meaning that, yeah, we have the prompt is encoded, so the prompt can be some text, yeah, some simple prompt like give me a song about the Data Geeks meetup, or you can give some lyrics or also some audio signals. So whatever you get as a prompt, you can encode. Then you have the sequence model, yeah, like for example the latent diffusion, and then you generate a null spectrogram out of it, and then you can use a vocoder or something, yeah, some audio decoder, which translates this back into an audio signal. So this is the general workflow. So yeah, there are some open source models, and they have been there for quite a while. So Jukebox from OpenAI was released in 2020. It uses a vector quantized variational autoencoder for the audio compression and then a transformer over codes. As I said, this is huge. Yeah, and has limited quality, so this is not very useful. There is refusion, which uses a stable diffusion model on the spectrogram images, and then it works it back to audio signal using the vocoder. So refusion is still there on Hugging Face, but the paper somehow disappeared, and now there is a company. Yeah, so you can go to refusion.com and generate the music there. There's MusicGen from Meta from 2024, which is an autoregressive transformer over discrete audio tokens. Yeah, so the symbolic approach. And there are some more. Yeah, some also from China, some models, Audio LDB, SongGen, Gen1, Composer, YOE. So there are a lot of models, open source models, but none of them is competitive to Suno or Udio or the commercial ones, yeah, in quality. So why is there no good open source model out there for music generation? And there is a bunch of reasons. The first one is limited training data. So if you want to train a text model, you can just scrap text from the internet. If you want to train image generation models, you can just collect images from the internet. This is not as easy with music, because to get the music, you would need to subscribe to some streaming platform or to some provider where you get the music from, and then it's explicitly forbidden to reuse them, to redistribute them, to use them for training. So if there is some text in the internet, yeah, you say, oh, maybe nobody knows, yeah, that we use this. But getting, like listening through all Spotify songs that are available and saving them, I don't know, it's probably not that easy. Yeah? Second is in music, there is a lot of long-term and hierarchical structures. So the beginning needs to fit to the end. It's happening on different levels. Yeah, as I said, I don't know nothing about music. Yeah, but it is the structures are much more hierarchical and complicated than in text. And you want to have a lot of diversity and originality. So in the ideal case, you create a song that sounds absolutely awesome, but doesn't sound like any artist that is known. Otherwise, yeah, you will get a lawsuit. So this is explicitly forbidden in Suno and in Udio to prompt something like, give me a song that sounds like Metallica. Yeah, so you get a notification, yeah, bad guy, don't do that. We are not copying artists, so we detected there's an artist name in there. So they really try to avoid that. Good, and there is probably a limited user base. So the question is, what are you using this for? So if you have a text generation model, a lot of people are using it. That can be used in everyday's work. If you use image generation, it can also be used for presentations and for a lot of stuff. But ask yourself, when did you the last time thought, okay, now I need custom generated music? So this usually doesn't happen very often. There are some cases, yeah, there are some use cases. For example, we created a song for the birthday party of our neighbor, something like this, but this is pretty rare. Yeah, it's not like, usually people won't pay like $20 per month to generate one song per year. So I would guess that OpenAI, Google, AWS, and so on, they would be able to get this data and they would be able to come up with a model to train it. But I think they are not doing it because the user base they expect or the profit they expect from it is not that high. Good. So let's come to the painful or joyful workflow. So in my head, this was pretty easy. Yeah. In my head, I said, okay, I'll just prompt something like, give me an awesome song about neural networks. I feed it into Suno, and then I upload it to Spotify. Maybe, yeah, or ideally, I could fully automate this. So in my first idea, where I didn't know that there is no good open source model, I just said, okay, I'm gonna create a list of my topics from the lectures, and then I write a script which is just prompting it through, generating the songs, and automatically flushing it to Spotify. Actually, that doesn't work. So turns out it needs a lot of human intervention and supervision in this process. So this is how it really worked, or how I did it. So first of all, I gave some detailed instructions about the topic, what I want to have in verse 1, in verse 2, in verse 3, and so on, and in the chorus. So for example, for the song Regularization, I explicitly told the model in the first verse, I want to have L1 explained. In the second one, L2. In the third one, dropout. And in the fourth one, early stopping. And in the refrain, in the chorus, I want all 4 of these regularization techniques present. Then you get some lyric which has all this content in it, but if you have a look at it, you see immediately this cannot be a good song, yeah, because you get like in the main chorus you get the first line which has about 20 words in it, yeah, and then the next one that it doesn't work very well. So you get the lyrics, you adjust it, yeah, and most of the adjustment was make it shorter. Then I got the shorter lyric, but it wasn't precise anymore. So it was a lot of like interacting with ChatGPT to create these lyrics. And some of the results are good, some are not that good, but most of them worked at the end. So this is always a trade-off between precision and a good lyrics or good song. Because as a professor, you usually take care that everything that you write on some slides or stuff is really precise, is accurate, explains everything in very much detail. But for these lyrics, this didn't work. So for example, in the LSTM song, one of the part is LSTM forget. Yeah, but it would be like LSTM can forget part of it or something. Yeah, but it's just LSTM forget. So it's always like a trade-off. How precise and accurate do you want to be? And I decided to, the main part for me is that if the students remember the chorus and the main thing about this lecture, this is actually what is important for me. And it turned out that this was not intentionally, but when I prepared the exam in computer vision, yeah, in the last semester, I asked some questions, some knowledge questions. And then I was thinking, okay, if the students know the chorus of this song, they would be able to answer it. Yeah, like what is the 4 regularization techniques? L1, L2, dropout, stopping, 2. Okay, so it could help. Great. So once I have the lyrics, I prompt them into Suno. So Suno is a web platform. You just log in. You can have different prompts. You can also like only have a short prompt, give me a song about a dog or something, but you can prompt the lyrics. You can have different styles. And I also tried a lot of different styles. I tried just normal, very short style prompts like rock or hard rock or pop. And it turned out to be some good music, but during the process, I recognized if the more precise the style prompt is, the better it matches what you really want. Yeah, we will have a list. I have some examples later on. Good. So you prompt this, then actually you listen to the music, you verify that all the text that is in the lyrics is actually in the song, and then you select some of these versions. So Suno automatically gives you 2 versions. Yeah. Then you need to listen to it and say, okay, this is good, this is not good, and I had to do this like a few times. Yeah. For the neural network song, for example, I think I prompted it 10 or 12 times until there was a song where I said, okay, this is acceptable. Good. And then in the former versions for the first albums, I used the model, or the latest model was version 3 in Suno, and it made some mistakes. Yeah, so you had like after the 10th prompt, you got a song that you like. Yeah, you hear it like 80%, and then you recognize, oh damn, it forgot the last verse. Yeah. Or it sung some words wrong so that you cannot understand it. So I had to regenerate it again. So this whole process actually of generating this music took weeks. Yeah. So if I count all the numbers, all the hours together that I invested in this, was about 3 weeks for the first 3 albums. Good. Then finally, I have the MP3 file. You could also have the WAV file, but I used the MP3 file. and I download it. And I do this for like all the songs of the album, for all the pop, rock, and hip hop. So then I thought, cool, now I'm done. Yeah, I can just upload it to Spotify. No, you cannot just upload music to Spotify. You need to have a distributor. So, yeah, first of all, I wanted to create an album, so I need an album cover. I used Midjourney together with some prompt to generate an image. I tried to get the text on it automatically. It didn't work. So I created a background image, and then I placed the backpropagation silhouette that was also generated with Midjourney on the album. I added a shadow manually. I put the text and all the descriptions on it manually. So this also took me some time. And then you need to have a distributor, because Spotify and all the others, they do not allow you to just drop music. You need to have a distributor. So I had to search some distributor. I used DistroKid, which is one of the cheapest ones. And actually what you need to do is, if you create a new release, you upload the album cover, then you select or you upload all your MP3 files one by one. Yeah, not all at one by one. For every single song, you need to fill in like 10 to 20 fields of information. Who is playing the guitar? Who is doing the vocals? Who is playing the drums? Who has the rights on the production? And so on. Does it have explicit content? Things like that. Good. So this also took me a long time. And then once you uploaded the MP3 files, you could also add the lyrics to it, because these songs don't help my students if they don't have the lyrics. So I want to have the lyrics published with it. And on Spotify, so who has used the lyrics feature on Spotify? Yes, you know it's synchronized. Yeah, this is not done automatically. You need to do this manually. Yeah, so what DistroKid gives you is a website showing the text, the lyrics, and then starting to play the music. And you hit the spacebar whenever a new line starts, and you release it when the new line ends. So this took me again, I don't know how many hours to sing all this music. And, I have 3 kids, so I was sitting in my office. They heard, oh, Dad is listening to music. Opened the door, started talking to me, and I said, fuck, I need to start again. Yeah. So this happened a few times. Okay. And then finally, once all this is done, you wait, for a week or so, and then it gets published on Spotify. The synced lyrics take a bit longer, so they could take 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's there on Spotify. Good. So let's listen to a few of these songs. And it was hard for me to select some because I like all of them. So let's start with a very catchy one. First album. So I think from the first 3 albums that have been generated with the version 3 model, this is probably the best one.
Crowded scenes, it never looks away. Open post tracks, each person shape, come what may. Hard confidence, not stage, keep dance. Marking heads, elbows, ankles, giving them a chance. No matter how many subjects stand within the frame, its multi-stage process rises up to stake its claim. Open pose, it sees us all, building up each limb, no matter how we sprawl.
That's a pretty good one, but there is also, thank you. So the next one is good for the dance floor. So if the students want to make party, so you don't need to stay in your seat, you can stand up and dance if you feel it. It's called hyperparameter optimization in the hip hop version, which should be this one. So we have more. Thank you. We have more party songs. So, let's go for Attention in the pop version.
The span is too long. We need a new way to keep context strong. Self-attention checks every token near. Each word sees all connections clear. Attention is all you need. Focus helps the model read. Attention is all you need. Focus helps the model read. Attention. Let's go!
Okay, great. So, and as I said, if you like really invest a lot of time in the style prompt engineering, then you can get a very specific style of music. And I tried to like get something like Limp Bizkit, yeah, from the early 90s with the Transformer song in the rock version. Limp Bizkit is forbidden in the prompt, yeah, so I had to like describe it. So, and you can do really specific or special things like I did for the LSTM song. You know, LSTM was invented by Hochreiter and Schmidhuber here in Munich. So I decided to give it like a Bavarian touch.
Remember, nodes look to themselves. They cascade along, storing time on their shelves. But gradients vanish, the memory is gone. Back in 1997, two minds lit the flame. Sepp Hochreiter Schmidhuber gave LSTM its name.
Okay, so if this is not a recent hit, 2025, I don't know. Okay, good. So it works. It produces some kind of music. Yeah. So let's see what is the cost. So Suno is 10 euros per month. So I use Suno, not Udio, because the newer version of Suno was better. Then I have a ChatGPT abo, which is 23 per month, so I don't pay it. Yeah, it's paid by the by my company or by the university, and I would probably have it anyway. But still, if you want to do it from scratch, you would need to have like an LLM to generate the lyrics and some subscription to either Suno or Udio. So this is okay. Yeah. So I used it about 10 months to generate all the songs. I paid for the whole 10 months, so this is about 330 euros. Yeah, that I one time invested. I think this is okay. Yeah, the monthly costs or the yearly costs are with the distributor. So it's 42.99 euro per year to have DistroKid distributing your music. The cool thing is it's not only on Spotify, it's everywhere. So they upload it to Spotify, YouTube Music, Amazon, Apple. So you can also you can buy the album for $9.99 at Apple Store. So they distribute it to like over 20 services. And if you want to have the synced lyrics that you see in Spotify, it's an additional $14.99 per band. So the Carnage compiler doesn't have that. Yeah? Only the Backpropagation Boys. And I invested about 120 hours of time. So actually, it was a 330 euros roughly one-time cost, and it's roughly 58 euros per year just to keep it there up and running. So now let's see what is in the wallet. It's $1.42. At least, yeah. So why? What is the income stream? So at Spotify, yeah, you get $0.003 per stream, but only paid if at least 1,000 streams are happening per song per year from different users. Okay? So actually, you never get money from Spotify. Yeah. So now a valid question would be, where do the $1.42 come from? Some other streaming providers, they pay it with less streams. But let's, for this calculation, stay with Spotify. So this means for 1,000 streams, if you reach this, it would be $3. So for 10,000 streams, then it would be $30. So for 20,000 streams, it would be 60. So actually, to cover my yearly costs, I would need to have 64 streams per day for at least one song to get the money paid from Spotify, only to cover my yearly costs. Okay, so 64 streams per day. I'm not even close to that. But was it a success story anyway? I would consider yes, because my intention was at the beginning to make money, and then I realized it doesn't work, so I created a Backpropagation Boys for the students. And my intention was to help the students remember important facts from the lectures. And that actually kind of worked. So from my 32 students attending the computer vision course, actually, this is the 31 who attended the questionnaire after the exam. So most of them disappeared already. From the 32, 9 said that they listened to the Backpropagation Boys to prepare for the exam. And out of this 9, actually 5 agreed that it helped them acquire some knowledge. Yeah? 2 disagreed, and 2 said, I don't know. Good. So I would consider it is a success. Yeah, if I can motivate more people or more of my students to listen to it, then probably they can remember some important stuff, and this was my initial intention. So to sum things up, I have some final notes on this. So if you consider doing something similar, you need to know that released music cannot be changed. So this is not like a website where you just change things. If you release an album, it's there. You cannot change it. You can delete it, but you cannot change anything. Or if you recognize that you made some mistakes, yeah, in one of the songs, it ends just abruptly. Yeah, so it ends just without an ending, just stops somewhere. There's no way to change that. As I said, there is like a trade-off between precision in the topic and in good song lyrics, because if you want to have it precise, the lyrics get very long and then it doesn't sound, or you do not get these catchy songs anymore. Another thing is that AI-generated music cannot be copyrighted. So basically the music is there and everybody can just change it, use it, whatsoever. So you cannot copyright it in USA. In Europe, there is no official statement yet, but there is there was one case in Czech Republic where Europeans or where the Czech Republic decided the same, said that AI-generated content cannot be copyrighted. There is actually a little backdoor in this, because if you write the lyrics yourself, then the lyrics is your contribution, your creative contribution. So this could probably be copyrighted, but the music itself not. Okay, and there is one golden rule of Data Geeks organizers, meaning none of us ever uses this community for its own benefit or to make money with the community. So please, and I mean this very serious, do not listen more than 63 times per day to a single song of the Munich Data Geeks. Thank you.